Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Digital Dinosaurs, and this is another episode of the Little YouTube Channel Reviewers. On this show, we review everything from this to this. In this video, we will be reviewing Ponyo. This animated movie was made by the infamously bad Studio Ghibli. This abhorrent company has made such movies extremely well known to be shit, like Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, and Arrietty. What scoundrels.
Precisely!
Side note, we will not be using actual footage from Ponyo, and will instead simply use still images. This is because Studio Ghibli goes apeshit over copyright and constantly takes content about their movies down. Like, I could tilt the footage, make it really small, then put some green screen haze effect over it, and then put some massive text over it again, but then you can't actually really tell what is happening. So we begin this movie and boom, the bear bar box is not there. But there is a lot of lovely marine life instead. Cats, jellyfish and eels galore. I really wish I could play actual footage, as this animation is really well done and vibrant, and is hand drawn, so we automatically get brownie points for that. But if I did want to show you it, it would look like this, so let's just not. We then see a little fish creature with a human face near some of its siblings. Yeah, this one is much bigger, so my epic film theory is that it came from a litter with lots of these little ones, but then a barracuda came and decided to reenact Finding Nemo, and now there was only one survivor, and then there was a second litter. Well, that's how it is in nature. And next to it, hold on. Is that a fucking trilobite?
Yeah, I just find it kind of weird how, trilobites in modern day Japan, weren't those extinct like 85 million years ago or something?
Sorry to correct you, but trilobites went extinct in the Permian extinction event, 252 million years ago.
Oh wow, so basically what you're telling me is Ponyo takes 250 million years to get up to the surface.
Wait, but there are catfish. And there's a human there as well, who I'll talk about more later. And they were not around 252 million years ago. And there's also an opabiniya and a sea scorpion too? What? So the fish creature travels via jellyfish to a coastal area, where our protagonist gets trapped in a jar and ends up being found by a small child, who's thankfully a lot less annoying than a child from a Gamera movie. This is Sozuke, and I'm not sure if it is normal that half of his head is shaved. Is that a popular haircut in Japan? Anyway, he finds the little fish creature and decides to take it home. I don't know, I think there's a 90% chance of that turning into a weird giant dragonfly thing, and Godzilla will have to be the children's friend and save the world. It drinks some of his blood, cause why not, I guess. Some hetero-like waves appear and are not friendly, and Suzuki does the logical thing and takes the fish creature to school, where annoying children totally will not question the strange creature and try to kill it. In the car, we meet the best character in the entire movie, Lisa. She is an almighty mother who works at an old people's home and is strong and brave and stuff. You'll see later in the movie.
If I was picking out like a team for how like isekai characters, so like they pick out heroes from the regular world, I would definitely pick characters like her.
That makes sense. Should she go with Godzilla and Goku one day?
I wouldn't choose Goku because he'll probably just end up challenging the enemy and just just blowing up places anywhere.
Suzuki names the creature Ponyo and feeds it ham. Then, when he's supposed to be at school, he goes to the old people's home that Lisa works at. A superstitious woman named Toki says that Ponyo is bad luck and will cause a tsunami of catastrophic scale. Suzuki tries to look after Ponyo near the water's edge, where there are silverfish just chilling out. What? You expected crabs to be on the beach? Wellom can explain this.
Do you know the Silverfish vs. Crab Wars, IRL?
Really, there is one?
Yeah, well, it's like kind of like a joke and they hate each other as animals.
The darned Hedera things from earlier take Ponyo away, and Suzuki is upset by this. Lisa is also upset because her husband is on a ship and he cannot come home. The ship comes near the house where Suzuki and Lisa live, and we get a comical scene where through Morse code, the two sides communicate, and Lisa, being the strong-willed person she is, calls the husband an idiot. I don't think that would have gone too well in Shakespeare's time. In the meantime, the man who the Hedera things work for, Fujimoto, is in an underwater containment facility. Actually, he is not a human, and apparently his DNA was modified so that he isn't a human anymore? I don't know. At least it's a smaller plot hole than Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber just magically appearing in The Force Awakens after falling into a gas giant's atmosphere. Fuck the sequel trilogy. Anyway, where was I? Oh right, so Fujimoto is planning to flood the world with aquatic life in a second Cambrian explosion. At the same time, Ponyo, who is back with the little creatures, becomes Shin Godzilla, and starts mutating chicken legs and chicken leg arms. Apparently, she's mutating due to drinking Suzuki's blood, which is turning her into a human. Hey, wait a minute, if she ate ham and drunk the blood, why isn't she turning into a weird pig-human hybrid abomination? Fujimoto tries to use magic to prevent Ponyo from mutating further, but surprise, it doesn't work. Ponyo floods the facility place with water and accidentally does the second Cambrian explosion thing too early.
What could possibly go wrong?
So all of the little Ponyos transform into golden fish and a catastrophic storm begins to approach Japan. Suzuki and Lisa are travelling home when suddenly, boom, the Bear Bar box is still not there, and waves are chasing their car. These waves are actually the golden fish from a couple of minutes ago, and Ponyo is there, and hey, I didn't know she was part basilisk lizard as well. So Ponyo catches up with Suzuki at his house. He asks Lisa if she can live with them, and Lisa is just like, sounds good. Like, is she not thinking of what her sea-bound husband will think of this? Ponyo eats some ham and does some magic, and Lisa goes to check on the elderly people, because in case you are unaware, people are animals, and
all animals bleed and die.
And while all of that stuff is happening, Lisa's husband is out at sea when suddenly there is a city on a standard nighttime ocean with a random wall of water behind them. And the city's actually a bunch of boats? Not going to lie, this is a very strangely drawn scene. Hey, at least the rest of the animation isn't like that. Ariel from The Little Mermaid appears and frees all of the trapped ships. Apparently she is the goddess of mercy. The goddess talks to Fujimoto, who is apparently her husband, about their daughter Ponyo. They say that there will be cataclysmic events if Ponyo is left unrestrained in the human world as the moon begins to fall out of orbit. It will be Faye all over again. Oh, the humanity.
I think they just watched Walking with Monsters and were like, yeah, we're set.
I mean, just the name is similar.
Walking with Monsters. The new Alien.
Suspicious.
The following morning, water has completely surrounded the house. It's just like that Peppa Pig episode. We should make a video on that episode one day. It's a fucking can of pig-infesting hookworm parasites. Ponyo and Suzuki become worried about Lisa because she won't be able to come home due to the flood. Don't worry, she'll be fine. She's Lisa. Ponyo uses magic to turn a toy boat that Suzuki owns into a proper boat that they can go in. Geez, it really is like that Peppa Pig episode. When they get going, they see Devonian fishes. Yes, so Fujimoto doesn't just have Palaeozoic invertebrates, he also brought placoderms back, like Borotholepus, Dipnorhynchus, and Devonichus. Devonichus isn't a real genus of fish. Why didn't they just use Dunkleosteus? Oh wait, never mind, I've got one crucial detail about Dunkleosteus. It's an apex predator. Forget what I just said. Making up a new species of fish is fine. Ponyo and Suzuki meet a family, and they have a small baby who looks disapprovingly at them.
The baby is just like, I hate your guts.
There's also another boat that appears, only to be barely relevant to the plot. I guess this scene tells us that there's a girl in Suzuki's class who is not dead from the flood? Whatever, we don't see her ever again, so in my headcanon, the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World ate her. What? If Paleozoic marine organisms can come back from the dead, surely Mesozoic marine organisms can too. Anyway, the other boats stay behind while the two main characters are leaving. The people in the second boat salute them.
They're like, this little kid is worth 10 of us. They just accept that as the son of Lisa, he's instantly goated.
Then, Ponyo just decides to devolve into a chicken-human hybrid to calm down the baby who is now crying. And no one is questioning this? After that, Ponyo gets tired and can no longer provide fuel for the boat. So Suzuki takes things into his own hands and pushes Ponyo in the boat to dry land. The boat then also transforms back to its regular size. Great, if you just stayed awake, then Suzuki could actually return to his house. Good work, Ponyo. It is then revealed that the old people, despite their home being flooded, are actually safe and sound, because Fujimoto decided that he liked them enough to keep them alive in a bubble of air, I guess. And he also healed all of their legs, so now they can run around like they're in a kindergarten playground. Actually, I'm pretty sure he only kept them all alive so that Lisa is alive, so that when Suzuki comes to the pocket, they can make amends about Ponyo. After all, if he let all the old people die, then Lisa would not like him and would be more suspicious of him when he talks to Ponyo, but we'll get to that in a minute. Ponyo and Suzuki are walking through a tunnel to get to the old people's home, but suddenly Ponyo begins to devolve back into a fish creature. And then there is a frame that scarily reminds me of the 1960s Japanese cartoon, Leo the Lion, which uses the exact same background technique in its running schemes as Ponyo. Whatever, at least the animation and voice acting in the Japanese version of Ponyo is better than the animation and voice acting in the English dub of Leo.
Where do you think you're going?
With you?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Just like I was.
Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. Now,
Don't be afraid. I just want to be friends with you.
When they are out of the tunnel, it is time for the final confrontation with Fujimoto. First, he tries to reason with Ponyo and Suzuki by showing them that the moon is falling to Earth. But Ponyo squirts water in Fujimoto's face, and Suzuki runs to Toki, who did not go with the other old people. Then the Hedera wave things from earlier come to wash the two into the bubble place, and succeed. Just quickly, why is Toki so eagerly protecting Suzuki and Ponyo in this scene? There have only been 2 scenes with Toki and Suzuki together, and 1 with Toki and Ponyo, and in both, Toki seemed quite frosty to the 2 main characters. Whatever, let's just continue. We've only got 10 minutes left in this movie. So the Goddess of Mercy from earlier comes to the air bubble and talks to Ponyo and Suzuki. The goddess tells them both that Ponyo cannot be both a magical fish creature and a non-magical human, as she currently is, and that if she is to remain a human, she must have a man who will love her and look after her properly. Suzuki accepts to being this man. This is slightly weird as they are both 5-year-olds.
Yeah, I think it's more, at that age, it's more romantic. As in, like, they think the other person is kind. It's not like they want to have sex with them. It's more like they want to spend more time with them, you know? And just have fun.
Ponyo also agrees, and she becomes a proper human this time. Suzuki and Fujimoto makes amends. I guess the moon's orbit and the sea levels go back to normal, the placoderms and trilobites end up in Nigel Marvin's prehistoric park, and Suzuki and Ponyo get to live with Lisa, the most amazingly strong character in anything ever. Better than Freak Teddy, the previous heavyweight champion in this regard. Sorry Teddy, you're going in the dumpster. Anyway, roll credits. That was Ponyo, and now it's time to talk about it.
Welcome back, guys, and today we'll be rating Ponyo, and I'm sure you've already seen the edited version of the little jokes we put in there. I think this movie was quite good. What about you?
I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was rather charming and enjoyable.
I think it's one of the best movies I've watched in a long time. I think this was a masterpiece.
At any rate, it was better than The Little Panda Fighter.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So first of all, for animation, I give it a 7 out of 10. There's better animation if you go to other anime, but I feel like Studio Ghibli's always quite solid. I might have given like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, but I'm not the biggest fan of their art style, so my animation rating is 7 out of 10. Next is plot. Also 7 out of 10. It wasn't the best plot, but it was still interesting, and it was still quite unique. It wasn't like generic. And then I have my characters, 9 out of 10. I feel like they were relatable, and also the relationships between the characters was very interesting, and I liked them all, especially Lisa and Ponyo. And then finally, overall enjoyment is a 9.5 out of 10. I didn't enjoy it as much as One Piece, but it's still a top tier anime. In my opinion, it was as enjoyable as Jujutsu Kaisen or Bleach. And so my overall rating is 8.1 out of 10.
Okay, so I'm gonna base my ratings on story, animation, characters, and overall enjoyment. And I know this is in a different order to the ratings I used in the Little Panda Fighter review, but honestly, who the fuck truly cares about the intricacies of this rating system? I will give the story an 8 out of 10. While it wasn't groundbreaking, it was a really nice story that had good pacing. Not really got anything else to add to that, other than that the ending was slightly weird, with Suzuki having to marry Ponyo when they got older, but I can overlook that. I will give the animation a 9 out of 10. I really like Ghibli's expressive animation style, and it is truly impressive that it is hand-drawn. Indeed, I probably would have rated it lower if it was CGI. The animation does not get a perfect 10 out of 10 however, as there were certain shots that looked a bit weird, like the ship graveyard. The characters get an 8 out of 10. Unlike the Little Panda Fighter, where the characters are mainly uninteresting and unlikable assholes, no character here was truly hateable. They were all charming, with actual personalities other than, I'm a dancing pacifist, I like sexy fighter bears, and you're yanking my fur again. Even the antagonist had an actual reason to secure Ponyo, to prevent the moon from reenacting the conspiracy in Godzilla Final Wars, and after the realization that she did not want to be a fish anymore, helped her to become a true human and prevent the destruction of Earth. To be honest, I feel like there could have been more character development in this film though, an example being between Suzuki and Toki. Finally, for my overall enjoyment, I will give Ponyo a 9 out of 10. I just felt that this was a very nice movie to watch, with likeable characters, amazing animation, and a charming story. So, my score for Ponyo is 8.5 out of 10.
Well then I guess that means combining our ratings and half of them, we get 8.3 out of 10, which I'm actually surprised you put it above what I picked. It's weird considering it was my pick.
Did you know that we select films in a system where one of us picks 3 movies and the other picks 1 out of them? Wellom picked Ponyo and 2 other films, and they might appear on the show sometime in the future. Anyway, back to the video. Ponyo is leaps and bounds better than the little panda fighter, that ironically enjoyable fucking travesty of a movie.
That was horrible. I don't even know how that can be considered a movie at this point.
Even if Ponyo has some, let's say, concerning Palaeozoic faunal inclusions, it also had the S-tier Lisa, who was a much better female character than Honey.
You sure will, little cuddle bear. Wow. Bye. Woo woo!
What the fuck was that?
I would have to agree with you on this one.
While the little panda fighter is pretty comedic, completely unintentionally, it is completely overshadowed by another film the same studio made, Ratatouille.
Precisely!
Sorry to go on a tangent, but I actually prefer Ratatouille to Ratatouille.
Wait, really? I actually quite enjoyed the original Ratatouille.
I don't dislike Ratatouille, but I find Ratatouille such a farcical mess of a film that it is simply amazing and an absolute connoisseur's masterpiece. I guess that's a review for another day.
We should do a comparison video between those two. Maybe like it could be like the 1 year special for the series. I guess 8.3 means it's definitely one of our recommendations. Studio Ghibli makes a lot of good films. You should check them out. Support the creator. I know a lot of you have probably heard of them because they're the most popular movie animation around in terms of anime, and they deserve it. So check them out, definitely. Yeah. Overall, watch the movie. Support the creators. That's all we really have to say.
Okay, so I'll end with a teaser for our next review instead of a parody because Studio Ghibli is incredibly protective of their movies. I'm Digital Dinosaurs, this was the little YouTube channel reviewers, and I hope you have a nice day.